Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. I'm excited to be here today. My name is Kathy Amery. I'm with Valley Arts and Education. We're a nonprofit here in Phoenix, Arizona. This is our Masterpiece in Progress class. We're really excited that we've been able to start doing these uh, videos for you while we're in the lockdown. And I'm really excited today because I figured out on my camera, this is what, video number 10, and that I can even zoom in more and not have the camera right on top of me. And I think you'll be able to see better. So this is our painting today. It's called Liberty. This was inspired. My daughter-in-law loves everything flags in USA, and she had bought a little wooden sign. So this was the inspiration for the painting, was the wooden sign. And so what else about this painting? All right, let's talk about this painting. The background, we have three colors in the background. We have a light orchid. We have um, some jack-o'-lantern orange, and this is actually optional. And remember, I am using all deco art paints. If you don't have deco art, you can get them, I think at Michael's, probably Hobby Lobby. You can order them online. Um, Somebody asked the other day, well, Kathy, you don't use deco arts when you're out in public. And that's, look at the sizes of these. Do you know how many I would go through in a night at our paint classes when we have 60 people? It would be near impossible. So I'm really excited that I've been able to use these paints while I've been home. Um, and if you've got like a dark purple, you can always lighten it with some white if you don't have these specific colors. But I am a deco art helping artist, so I do like to promote their paints. So back to our sky, I have pink. I also have a fuchsia in there. It's called Royal Fuchsia. And then that's the entire background. And then we'll come back in here. Once we get our truck on, we'll add some grass into the area. And I used, I believe, light avocado, sour apple, and I might even have some Hauser medium green in there. And there's also some ultra, a deep midnight blue. We're going to use that for some of our shadows in the truck. Our truck and flag will have the ultra deep blue. We will have our lamp black, titanium white, and we're using just a red. This one's called Red Alert for the flag glasses. Oh, and we can't forget we need a brown for the ears. Now, I have a honey brown, which is a lighter one. You could use that if you want, but I think in this uh, I use this asphaltium. Okay, so that's, oh, the other thing I do have is a little bit of metallic, just for fun. Kind of goes right around here in the tires and on that door handle, and then I have some in there. But you don't have to do that. Of course, you guys can glitter them up. All right. So with that, let's talk first the background. Now, I've already kind of gotten one step ahead of you, and there's the background. Again, I took the light orchid. I didn't worry too much down here because we're going to darken this up. I have some pinks in there. I did throw that a little bit of orange in there, but I also, in this one, not so much in the original, but in this one, I threw a little purple in, just so you can kind of see the contrast. I wanted a little bit something in. So our next step here is going to put our clouds in. So I wanted to walk through that with you. Now this is 11 by 17 canvas. I am using the canvas pads, and it looks like, holy moly, I'm down to one more pad. You will need transfer paper. You'll need the pattern. Uh, You need your plate, brushes. Let's talk about brushes. Now, I've expanded my brushes just a little bit just because I'm wearing out brushes. And I picked up a Dynasty brush here and a Majestic, a Royal Majestic. So I have my 3/4 Royal, which I used for the background, all of it in here, and I'll use it probably down in here. I have my 1/2" Royal Gold. One of my favorite brushes really is this black #8 Dynasty. I just love this. In our next video, we're going to use this quite a bit. You're going to love our next painting. I also have my #4. And then I just picked up this #1 round detail brush from Royal Nickel. Again, you can, if you want to get some of these brushes, you can go to the brush guys and they'll take care of you. They're one of our partners. All right, so I am going to start with some clouds. I have my cup of water. I'm going to get my 1/2" brush wet, dab it off on the paper towel. And as you guys know, summer in Arizona, I don't put out a plate full of color because it dries out. So let's talk about these clouds. I'm so excited because you're going to get really a bit closer to me. All right, so I'm going to take my 1/2" and I'm just going to go in there and just begin to tap some of these clouds in. I am laying the paint on there pretty thick. I'm going to wipe out my brush, and then I'm going to come in and just start to work with the paint and begin to fluff these clouds out. I enjoy doing clouds. I'm just pulling what's already on the canvas down in to make these wispy clouds, right? Clouds are amazing. Now, I don't want to get rid of all of that white on there. I'm going to come in and grab some more of my white. And I'm going to just go right down in here and lay right where I have just wisped. I don't know if that's a word. Wisped those clouds, or fluff those clouds up. Wipe out my brush. And when I wipe out my brush, I just have a napkin down here and I'm just wiping it out. And then I'm just going to fluff these clouds out. Now, there is a pattern in the supply list instructions. And this canvas is 11 by 14. And of course, you know, my scanner does more of the 8 by 10. I don't know if it will do 11 by 17 printout or not. But anyway, there's 2 parts to the pattern again, because if not, it shrinks it and you won't have the same size truck as me. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Just continuing with these clouds. Interesting, you know, the creative process, I'm really on a roll this week. I did this painting. I'm already almost done with our next painting. And somebody said to me last night, oh my gosh, that looks really hard, but it's a lot easier than you think. And then I have another one in mind for us already. That doesn't happen very often. I've had a lot of questions. When are we going to get to paint together in the restaurants again? That's still all up in the air until some things break, till we get COVID under control and life gets back to normal. It might be a while. And even when we go back into the restaurants, we will still continue painting videos because A, they keep me going and they're fun. All right, so am I happy with those clouds? A couple things I could do. I could pick up a little bit of this fuchsia. Don't need a lot. That's about all I'm putting on the plate. I may need more, and that's okay. Picking up a little bit of that paint. Not a lot, but a little bit. And I could come right underneath here and pop some color into these clouds. We could do purple, we could do, wiping out my brush, we could do whatever colors we wanted. Just popping a little color in there just to show you. But then I would go back with my white, go right on the tops of these again. Look how you can just shape those things. Love clouds. Again, just fluffing them out. Picking up some of that pink as we go. All right, well, I hope that looks good for you. Let's talk that pattern now. When I create, I have this tracing paper that I make your pattern out of, and it is the exact size that I need, which is great. And this tracing paper does come in different sizes. So, and then I put it in the scanner and scan it for you. So I have this wonderful piece of paper that I'm just going to put on here. And then we're going to put our tracing paper on there and trace it as is. Now what you guys will do, and I don't think I printed out, but you're going to take your two 8x10s. Part of it is got all of this in it, and then the other part. When I put it through the scanner originally, I put it in diagonally, and I thought, oh, that's really going to confuse you guys. So I just made two, and then what you'll do, wherever they overlap, just tape them together and then trace them on. All right? And I am going to trace mine on, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. All right, I have my pattern on here, and just kind of showing you how I do it. Again, I have the privilege of creating the pattern, so I have this nice tracing paper that is the perfect size, and then my transfer paper, graphite paper, is underneath. Remember, shiny side goes down. And I always tape it. That way I can peek and hopefully it doesn't move. So I have my truck all traced on here. And first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do some underpainting. And we're going to do that by underpainting our dog white and this flag white. So I am going to start with probably my number 4 brush. I'm going to wet it, dip it on my napkin. Got a little bit of white here on my paint, or on my plate. And I'm just going to go in here because I know that he's white. And I want him to look nice and bright. And right now he's looking a little pink. Now the flag and the dog is really the only thing that we're going to need to underpaint. This is going to be pretty dark in here. The wheels will be dark. We'll have our grass down here. So if you need to use a smaller brush, feel free to do so. I am going to leave that bow open because that's going to be a dark blue, so I can paint right over that. His nose is going to be black, and of course he's going to be brown in there. So that will cover pretty well. I'm going to leave that alone because that is going to be a dark color as well. But in the red, would be fine here too, but we need our white pretty bright. All right. And I could just paint the stripes in when I painted everything else, but I think it's going to be easier if we just paint that white. And again, thin coats, they dry pretty quick. And then I can go right back over the dog again. Make sure he's bright. You can't see that pink through there. I am going to switch to a little bit smaller brush. Getting this little detailed majestic brush out. Going to wet that. Get some paint on it. Sometimes it's just easier to have a smaller brush. Now, when we get to this part, I will probably mention it again, but this round part is part of his glasses, just so you're aware. We'll see how that does. All right. Moving right along, I am going to now switch to, well, let's switch to a 1/2 inch here. We're going to work on the truck. So I am going to pick up my Ultra Deep Blue. I'm going to put some of that on my plate. Putting quite a bit on there. And my other blue is the Deep Midnight Blue, and that's our shadow color. And I still have white on there. We don't need as much of this. And I still have some white on there. So base, the truck base here is going to be this color, also our flag. So let's just start with that flag. Got my smaller brush here. While we're thinking about it, let's just go ahead and pop the blue over here on our flag. Now when you're putting these patterns on, if you feel comfortable just freehanding your flag, just freehand it. You don't have to trace all of this stuff on. I'm just giving you the tools that you want. I could hear some of my guys at Peoria saying, that's cheating when you trace. I miss seeing everybody. All right. 1/2 inch. Gonna go into this blue. And we're gonna start just coming in here and laying the color on. Now when I get up in here, I will switch to a smaller brush. I did wet my, well, I had just cleaned this brush, so it was still pretty wet. If I feel like it has too much water in it, I will dab it off. I'm going to pick up just a tiny bit on my same dirty brush of the darker blue. And I believe we have some shadows right in here. So we're just going to meld those together. As I was putting this on, I thought, we may do this. I thought, oh, I should have made this a step in there. put some silver, and we may still do that. We'll decide later. Again, this is just an undercoat. Because it will take 2 coats. I think my brush was holding a lot more water than I anticipated. I think I am going to switch brushes now. I use this Dynasty number 8 a lot in our on-site paint classes. We do sell these brushes, and I do have some if you guys are interested in them. You could do a porch pickup, but I like this brush because it's small and it gets right in there. And this brush, oh, we're going to use in our next class. You guys are going to love the next painting that we're going to do next week. Now, this is a window in here, so we leave that open. Again, this is just a rough coat on here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. Now, this line in here I put in, that is going to be some shadows for you. You don't have to put that line in, but I did give you that option. Boy, this truck's looking pretty rough, isn't he? And I do have my fan going on in the studio, even though it's a little bit cooler today. Things are drying pretty quick. All right, picked up a little bit dark. I just want to paint some dark right in here. I'm going to reinforce right in here again. Go right along my shadows here. All right, and then just going back into my bright blue. I'm just going to put one more layer on here. It's going to be a little bit, and now it's going to be nice and dark. I am going to pick up a tiny bit of white, not a lot of white. I'm going to come right along this fender here and just lighten that up a little bit. Right in here. Get as close to those lines that you drew in there as you can. top of this door right here, I am going to pick up a tiny bit of the darker blue right along here and darken that. Just reinforce that a little bit more. And then go right on top of this. This truck takes quite a bit of paint because we're doing 2 layers on it. Onto the back, right up there, close to the dog. Put some more paint on my plate of the ultra deep blue. You need a smaller brush in some of these areas. Feel free to switch brushes. Our truck's looking pretty good. We're going to work on this truck, then get our tires in. Then we're going to put the grass underneath, and then we'll work on the details of the dog and the flag. Picking up a little bit of white. With my blue, I'm going to come right back in here and just again, I want that a little bit brighter in there. Same thing over here. Right in there. Okay, now we're going to do some lamp black on our plate. There we go. And we have several layers on this tire. So the outside tire is going to be straight black, and didn't really clean out my brush, just wiped it out. I mean, you can still see I have a little paint on there, but I know I'm going into this black, my brush, and we're going to start here with the outside of the tire. And one of the reasons I like this brush is because I can kind of use it, the more pressure, it kind of widens the brush out on that side there. Okay, there's the outside of one. Doing circles are not always easy, are they? All right, we've got the outside of the two tires. Okay, get a little bit closer in here. All right. I've got plenty of black on my, I'm not going to go into any more black, but I am going to pull some white on until I, just what was on my brush, I can get and make a nice gray. All right. And this is going to be pretty light, actually. This will be a light gray, a darker gray, and then I think we put silver in the middle. Okay. And look, these are not going to be perfect, but we try. And guess what we can always do? We can always go back and then fill that black in. So I will not worry too much about that. Same thing over here. I think I got plenty of space over here. Yeah, I'll have to come back and clean that up a little bit now. The next is going to be a little bit darker. So a tiny bit of, I'm going to get some more paint in there. Tiny bit of black. This should be darker. And if it's not too much darker, we'll add a little bit more black in there. There we go. It's like there's always one side that looks better than the other, which happens to be this tire looks better than the other tire. All right, and then I go light again. So now I'm just going to add some more white to that mixture here. And I think I better switch down to a smaller detail brush here. I am going to clean that a little bit. It seems stiff on me. So, picking up some white here. We just want to be able to see the difference. And I think we can pretty much see that difference. Maybe a little more white. There we go. And it's okay if it overlaps that dark gray a little bit. Adding quite a bit more white in here. And we'll just fill this in. Ooh, needs a little bit more white than that. I really want that to be lighter. There we go. Fill that circle in there. And we'll come back and do some cleanup work shortly. Okay, I'm gonna clean out that brush best I can. I'm gonna switch back to now my 1/2 inch brush. we are going to start with our dark green, which is this medium Hauser green. Putting that on my plate. Easier said than done sometimes. It's looking pretty good so far. Unplug that a little bit. Now we're getting some green on the plate. Easier. There we go. Also going to pick up a little bit of light avocado. There's really not a whole lot of difference in those. One seems a little bit flatter than the other. Half inch. I'm okay with there being some blue on here, and I'll tell you why. Because right underneath here, we're going to have shadow in there anyway. And that's got a lot of water in that brush. These brushes are good because they hold a lot of water. All right. So just kind of cleaning off my brush here with whatever color I have on there. All right. I'm going to just pick up a combination of my greens. You're not going to see a whole lot of difference in those. But I'm just going to come in here and lay this ground in. And again, we're going to go right up to right underneath the truck. Now I will come back in here with another brush and get a little bit closer. This brush really probably needs a good cleaning. I have a tendency to start, stop. It's been a couple of days since I've started this one, so. I'm actually going to switch to my 3/4 brush just because I can cover more ground here. About up to there. Now, it's all right to get some chocolate in your peanut butter. What do I mean by that? We're going to have to come in and do some work on the tires, but that's okay. That's easy to do. Okay. You can see a little bit of that pink in there. Not a big deal. Even that brush has a lot of water in it. A lot more than I normally would use. Not sure what's up with that. Pick up a tiny bit of blue of the the darkest blue that you have. I'm going to come right in there. And again, it takes a little bit, too much, wipe it off. And we're just going to blend this little bit of shadow in there, pick up a little bit of green with it. We just want to blend those colors together. Again, a little bit more of the blue right in here. I think I have a little bit of shadow right there as well. Wiping out my brush and blending that with the paint that's already on there. It's still fairly wet. And I'm already a little bit of shadow down in here. I'm going to cover this green a little bit darker. first coat, we're going to come back, clean up the tires eventually, add some other grasses. But in the meantime, I am going to clean my Dynasty brush, get some of that paint out of there. This might be too big for my dog, but I'm going to start with it. I'm also going to, these blues are so strong. All right, I'm even going to clean this number 4. But Kathy, you rarely clean your brushes. You are correct. All right, so I have this asphaltium. You could use a chocolate brown. You could any dark brown that you want. Maybe you want your ears to be black on this dog. I chose brown. So that's what we're going to work on. 2 things here. Before I get too far into this, while I have a little bit of black on my plate, I want to put this nose in. And this nose is just a little round nose there. Now, if you want to use a small brush for that, feel free to do so. I'm wiping out, not cleaning, just wiping out that black out of there, but I'm okay because I'm going to go in with this brown. And let's go in and play with his ears. Come to a point. Oh, he's looking cute already. He is a cutie. Isn't he cute? We're going to let that dry. Make sure I got out there a little bit. Now I am going to take my detail brush and wipe it out. Or I'm actually cleaning this number 4. Got my detail brush. Sometimes we just need to get okay. How we doing? We're almost there. We're going to let that brown set up. In the meantime, we're going to go into the truck blue, that blue that we used on the truck. And let's go ahead and put his bow tie in because that does need to dry. You definitely need a small brush for this detail. There we go. How about that? We're going to let that dry. All right, let's put some stripes on our flag. I'm going to use this number 4. We need our red. It could be any red that you choose. This color is called Red Alert by Deco Art. If you painted a flag with me before, hopefully you remember, if you look at any flag, at the base of where the stars are is always that first red stripe. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to kind of turn this on its side a little bit and put that first stripe in there. All right, and we're going to skip. I'm going to put one stripe right here. Oh, it's a little shaky. And I'm going to have one more stripe up there. And I am going to use this smaller brush, my detail brush, because it's going to be right on top, right there. And this, you could very easily use this for all your stripes. We're going to skip right there, come right along, and this has a little bump in it, as if it's blowing. So it's not going to be perfectly straight. Skip, come right along here, right over that imaginary bump. Notice I stuck with the smaller one, because that first stripe did get a little bit back. And I think we'll have one more right along here. There we go. Wiped out my paint just a little bit, and all right. That's all that we're going to need that red for, so hopefully you didn't put a whole lot. I still have some white on my plate. And I'm just going to go right in here and just jot some little, with this brush, stars in here. There's not going to be 50, so don't count them, but it's there. Oh, you know what? I lied. We need red on those glasses, don't we? So while we have our detail brush out, let's pick up some more red. This is the scary part. Like, I don't know how I did this. Remember, I said this right here is the outside of the glasses, so we're going to just kind of bring those up, and they're going to go up his nose here. Now, this does go into the brown a little bit. We're going to bring the bridge of the glasses right across here. And this is going to go right up there. This takes pretty steady hand. There you go. Now you could put a little bit of white on that brush. Tiny bit. Go back into your red. I don't see this one as well. There we go. Might have got a little bit thick there. There we go. All right. Super. We're going to let those dry. Wipe out that red. And let's pick up a little bit of white on that same brush. And we're going to come in here and put our dots in. Now, I want these to be more dotty. So make sure you have a nice point on your brush. And there's some dots. Less is more. Now, from the drawing, I still see where his smile goes, but I probably, you guys know me, would rather put that in with, you guessed it, a Sharpie. I have so much more control over it that way. I'm not really digging this right here. Just want to make sure that's nice and defined. There we go. We are getting there. Okay, we're going to let this set up because we're going to put some white stripes in there. We're going to put some gray in here. So let's start back down here. Let's get our tire worked out there. Which brush should I use, Miss Kathy? Well, we're going to use probably my Filbert to start, which is my Dynasty brush here. We're going to go into the black. If you need more black, because yours is dried out, be sure to get some. I'm just going to pick up a drop or two because that's all I need. And if I need more, I can always get more. Okay, using this brush here, we're going to go, I know I need to clean this one up right in here because that needs to be a little bit fatter. I'm going to make that tire go right into that green. Shape that gray a little bit more. And then I got really too fat in there. Oh well. What are you going to do? We're just reinforcing, cleaning up any edges, like right in here, which I may have to come back with some blue for that. All right. It should be dry. Tiny, tiny brush. And we're going to make gray. Now, you could have made them more like sunglasses. You could have made them green. You could have made them even blue. But I'm picking up a tiny bit of white and a tiny bit of black. You want to make quite a bit though, so all that white in there. It's going to be pretty light. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to fill in these glasses. Now, you could have even painted eyes in here, but we don't see his eyes. Just wet my brush just a tiny bit. I don't want it dripping, but I want this paint to kind of be a little bit smoother as it goes on, a little bit easier. There we go. Nice. There we go. Now I can breathe. All right. Wiping out my brush. Cleaning my brush because we're going to go into white now. straight white. And again, we're going to want that to be not really runny. Make sure your brush is clean. All right, now we're going to put some white right on these glasses. Now this is just almost like a touch, touch, touch. Just that little bit of pressure. I think we have some on the bottom here. All right, he is looking just spiffy. And while I have a little white on my brush, I just want a little white. So I better pick up some more. A little white right there. Wiping the paint off my brush. There we go. Did one great big dot there. And this is bugging me right here because you can see my lines. So I am going to come right along and paint right over top of those best I can. And what I may do is just reinforce my white one more time. Now you may have already gotten yours perfect. Mine is not. So we're just going to go right along here and just make this white a little bit heavier. You can also push back that red a little bit to make that thinner. Breathe in between here. I have a tendency to kind of hold my breath sometimes. So I breathe. Should have painted this on a canvas so I could have given it to my daughter-in-law who loves things, all things USA. Another coat right there. All right, let's put some grass in here. Now you could take the greens that we used and add some yellows to them, or I just have this great, one of my faves, sour apple. And we're gonna go right in, sticking with this detail brush. We're gonna throw some grass in here. We'll throw some grass right behind the tree. Now notice my pinkies right here on that canvas, and then we're just gonna pull up just some grass in here, and it could be different sizes, and wherever you kind of feel led, listen to me, put some grass in. Sometimes it's easier to move that. I'm gonna put some down here. Well, we're gonna put some up in here as well. We don't want them all the same size. But they kind of come out of the same area. Now, if I wanted just another patch like right in here, I find the quicker I do this, the better it is. And I'm starting at the bottom and pulling up, pulling up, pulling up, and pulling up. I need a little bit more back here, and kind of whatever's on my brush. Now I could, if I have some paint, come in here with some darker, like right in here, but I really can't see them too much there. So we'll stick with that lighter color so they pop. Don't go crazy, but you have enough. All right. What is left? Well, there's just a couple of things. Now, you do not have to do this. This is optional. We have this metallic shimmering silver. Shaken up. It's quite runny, and it just takes about a drop. Okay, I'm going to do 2 drops. Same thin brush. And I'm going to paint my door handle. Boop. And then right in here, I'm just going to lay some of that shimmery color. Small circle right in there. If you want, you could, and I see one other place I need a shadow in, you could come right along the door here, very, very thin. And we're going to go right over here to this pole. There we go, got our pole. I see if you have some of that dark, I want to put a shadow right there. And I need my blue. This is the deep midnight blue. If you've got some on your plate, that's great. If not, just a drop. That's all you're going to need. And our ultra deep blue, again, not very much. All right. Number 4, it's a little wet. I'm gonna come right in here. Gotta now pick up my other blue and just kind of blend that in there. Just want it. All right. Oh, and let's take and put that shadow right in here as well. These are just the little things when I step back from this, I see. And we're just going to make this fender just a little bit. And I added white to this. Same thing over here. I'm just going to whatever's kind of left there. All right. And let's see what else. Oh, I thought about this. Didn't do it originally in the first one, but I just want to take, we're going to darken this just a little bit right in here. Right there. So a little bit of the blue, the dark shadowy blue with a tiny bit of the regular blue. And we're just going to darken right in here. Well, I do have a little bit of white left on there, but that looks fine. And then we're going to come in. We're just going to see what happens here. I just thought, oh, we need a place to step on that truck. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to use some more of that fun metallic paint. Can you see this truck? This is where you open the door, you step right here to get up in that truck. Gonna pick up just that straight dark color and just come right on top, because I have way too much white in my brush at the time. Do I like that? It's okay. All right, if you see anything else that you need to fix in your painting, feel free to do so. As I said, I would take a little Sharpie and come right along here and give him a little smile. I don't know what, I guess we're going to give him a big smile. Probably going to come right here under his chin just a little bit. All right, I think we can call Liberty, as my granddaughter would do, all done. I appreciate you guys joining me. Next week, we'll come back with another awesome painting that you're going to love. I should give you a sneak peek. All right, if you insist. Because, oh, but it's not done yet, is it? But let me see how much more I have to do. But here is what we're going to be doing next week. It's not done. I got one more layer to put on here, but that will be our next painting. I can't wait to share it with you. So again, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to sign your painting post out there if you followed along and did this. And have a great rest of your day. And thanks for joining me on Masterpiece in Progress.